Hi 4G students, welcome to another video. Today is the first day of the month. Today is the first day of April and we are ready to do another lesson. And today's lesson, guys, is gonna be about math. So let me go here and open the page for you. And yes, you can see it on the title. Today's lesson is going to be about angles. But today we are going in depth. We are going beyond the basics. I'm just gonna do a quick review of what angles are. Then we're gonna take it a little bit further and we're gonna explore more about angles, okay? So relax, sit back and pay attention to the lesson. By the way, before I start with the lesson, let me tell you that I'm so happy to see that you have been doing great in Schoology. I know that the first day was kind of an introduction for you, but on the second day, I'm talking about the lesson that we did for Cesar Chavez. All of you did an amazing job on that, and I know you're gonna do amazing on today's lesson. So, as you already know, you watch the video and then you go back to Schoology and you take the test. I have some resources that can be useful for you, but I'll show you those resources after I finish with the lesson. Okay, so now we are ready to start. Okay, angles. So we know that angles are created by two rays, right? They meet at some point called the vertex, and we can have different types of angles. So let's go ahead and review them really quick. When we have an acute angle, that means that an angle which measures more than 0 degrees but less than 90 degrees. So in other words, an acute angle measures less than 90 degrees, right? We know that. And I know that I already did a video on this last week, I think. It was about angles. I did that one in Spanish. I'm gonna put that video in the comment section if you want to see that video in Spanish. I kind of have the same introduction but in Spanish. So if you want to see that in Spanish, I'm gonna leave the link down below so you can watch the video again, okay? So that's an acute angle. Right here we have a right angle. We know that a right angle measures, yes, exactly 90 degrees. And if you see that little square, guys, whenever you see that little square, that means that you have a right angle. So a right angle, I'm gonna put it here, measures exactly 90 degrees, right? Good. Right here down below we have an obtuse angle. That's an angle which measures more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. In other words, an obtuse angle measures more than 90 degrees, right? So measures more than 90 degrees. Good. And we have here the last one, which is the straight angle, an angle which measures exactly 180 degrees. So this one looks almost like a line. Actually, it's not a line. What it means that the rays are all the way open. They still meet at this point. So we call it the straight angle, which measures exactly 180 degrees. Good. So we got that information. We know that because we were able to see that in the classroom before we left to this vacations, right? Which actually are not vacations. You need to be doing work by now. But before we left, before we started doing Schoology, you knew all the types of angles. If you need this visual, I'm gonna put it in Schoology so you can review this on your own, okay? So now, that was the introduction. Now I want to take you to the main objective of this lesson, and that's going to be measuring angles. There are different ways that we can measure angles. On the right side right here, I have the protractor, right? We call this the protractor. En español, transportador. So a protractor is the tool that mathematicians use to draw angles, right? So if you want to draw a 62-degree angle, you just use this one, and you get that angle, right? If you want, I don't know, if you want to draw a 130 angle, you use the protractor, and that's gonna be really easy. You need 3 items to draw an angle. You need the protractor, a pencil, and a ruler. You need those 3 items in order to draw a good angle. Today we are not using a protractor. Today we are using another technique to calculate the measure of angles. And yes, that's possible, because if we know the basics, we can find the measure of angles by doing math. So today we are not using the protractor. Today we are using calculations to find the measure of angles. So before we find the measure of those angles, you need to know this information. And once again, this information, the one on top, is gonna be posted in Schoology. So if you want to go back and see it again, or if you want to pause the video, it is up to you. Just remember that you're gonna need this for the test. Okay, so today you need to know those 2 definitions, complementary and supplementary. Okay, let's go ahead and read the first one. 2 angles are complementary if the sum of their measures is 90 degrees. What does that mean, guys? It means that if you whenever you add 2 angles, right here we have angle 1 and angle B, if you add them, if you get 90, just 90, exactly 90 degrees, you call that complementary. Okay, on the other side, supplementary, 2 angles are supplementary if the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. So kind of the same thing as the one on top, but the difference here is that if you add the 2, like for example here angle 3 and angle 4, if you add those 2, you get 180. Okay, I know it sounds kind of complicated, but actually it's pretty easy. So let's go ahead and do guided practice so you can get a better idea of this. So it says, in 1 and 2, use the diagram next to I'm gonna read it again. In 1 and 2, use the diagram next to each exercise. Add or subtract to find the missing angle measured. Okay, let's go ahead and do number 1. Number 1 says, what is the measure of angle EBC if angle ABE measures 25 degrees? So I'm going to underline the question. Right here. Okay, so we have here, it looks like we have a 90-degree angle, right? A right angle. How do I know? Because I see the little square. But it seems that we don't know the measure of angle EBC. Guys, remember that in order to find the angle, you just follow the letters. I'm gonna put it here, EBC. So EBC. Okay, we don't know the measure for that angle, so I'm gonna put a question mark. What we know the measure of angle ABE. We know the measure for this angle, guys. We know that one. So I'm gonna put it here. The measure for angle ABE is what? 25 degrees. Good. So now the question is, how do I get the measure of the missing angle? So here we come back to this. It says, when you have complementary angles, the sum has to be 90 degrees. Okay, we know that. So in order to get that measured, we do a subtraction. 90 minus 25, it's gonna give me the measure of EBC. Okay, so I'm gonna do it here on the side. So 90 minus 25. So this row becomes a 10, the 9 becomes an 8, 10 minus 5 is 5, 8 minus 2 is 6. Guys, so the measure of angle EBC is 65 degrees. And if you want to check your answer, you need to add those two, and if you get 90, that means that you got the right answer. Good. So we are done with number 1. Let's go ahead and do number 2. It says, what is the measure of angle AEB if angle CEB measures 68 degrees? Okay, so one thing that I want you to do is to underline the question, and I want you to put the angles here on the side. And as you can see, we are working with the straight angle, so that means that the total is 180 degrees. So what do we know? We know that CEB, which is this one, I want to put it here, CEB measures 68 degrees. So CEB measures 68 degrees. But we do not know the measure for AEB. How do we get it? Do you think that it will be okay to do 90 minus 68? No, we cannot do that because now we're working with a supplementary angle. As you can see, we have a right angle, measures 180 degrees. So now the subtraction is going to change a little bit. Now it's going to be 180 minus 68. I'm going to put it right here. The 0 becomes a 10. The 8 becomes a 7, right? 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 6 is 1. And we bring down this 1. Guys, so the measure of AEB is 112 degrees. Once again, if you want to check your answer, you add those two. And if you get 180, that means that you got the right answer. Okay, guys? That was our guided practice, but I still want you to practice more with you so you know what to do when you take the test. So I'm going to change the page now. Okay, so here we have more examples. Complementary on the left, supplementary on the right. Complementary means that if you add two angles, you get exactly 90 degrees. On the other side, when you have supplementary angles, that means that you add two angles and you get 180. Okay, don't forget that, because if you forget that, you might do a mistake when you do a subtraction. Okay, complementary 90 degrees, supplementary 180 degrees. Okay, and once again, if you need this information, I'm talking about the visual, I'm gonna post it in Schoology so you can read it and you can see which one is for complementary and which one is for supplementary. Okay, good. Okay, complementary. I'm gonna do first the ones on the left. Okay, so here I have this is what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find the measure for HFG. I don't know the measure for this one, but how do I get it? Yes, doing a subtraction, right? So it's gonna be 90 because as you can see, here's a 90-degree angle. This is complementary. So 90 minus what? I know the measure for EFH. EFH measures 23 degrees. I'm gonna do a subtraction. 90 minus 23. The 0 becomes a 10. The 9 becomes an 8. So 10 minus 3 is 7. 8 minus 2 is 6. Guys, the measure for HFG is 67 degrees. I'm going to do the same thing here down below because I know I have a complementary angle. Two angles that when you put them together, they give you 90 degrees. So here I'm trying to find the measure for AVD, this part. How do I get it? Yes, doing a subtraction. 90 minus 37. That's how I get the answer. The 0 becomes a 10, the 9 becomes an 8, 10 minus 7 is 3, 8 minus 3 is 5. So the measure, guys, for ABD is 53 degrees. Good job. So now that we are done with complementary, I'm gonna do supplementary. And we know that for supplementary, it's gonna be 180 degrees, right? Okay. So on this one, how do I find the measure for HFG? That's what they are asking me right here. How do I find this? Doing a subtraction. It's gonna be now 180 minus 106. So the 0 becomes a 10, the 8 becomes a 7, right? So 10 minus 6 is 4. We bring down the 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. So guys, the measure for HFG measures 74 degrees. Let's go ahead and do the last one. And the last one we need to find the measure for angle AVD, which is this one, guys. It looks like an obtuse angle, right? It's all the way open. So it needs to measure more than 90 degrees for sure. So how do I get it? Guys, I'm gonna do once again a subtraction. I know this is a supplementary angle. Both of them give you 180. So 180 minus 17. Guys, 0 minus the 0 becomes a 10. The 8 becomes a 7. So 10 minus 7 is 3. 7 minus 1 is 6. I bring down the 1. Guys, the measure for this angle is 163 degrees. And that's how you find, guys. And that's how you measure angles, by doing math. So like I told you on the beginning of the video, there are different ways that we can measure angles. Yes, we can use the protractor, but we can also do some math and find the measure of angles. And how can we do that? First, we find if we are talking about complementary, 90 degrees, or if we are talking about supplementary, which is 180 degrees. Good. Guys, so today you're gonna be following the same routine that we have been doing here in Schoology. So now I want to take you to Schoology. So now that you're done with the video, you're ready to take the test. So once again, you go here to Schoology, you look for our class, which is for G, you open it up, and you go to the first folder because we're on the week of March 30th. You open it up, and guys, today it's Wednesday, so you open this folder and you're gonna see all of this, right? So I want you to look at the visuals again for types of angles and complementary and supplementary. I want you to understand that information well enough before you take the test. Okay, so those two resources are available for you. And once again, you take the test today, you have 10 questions, and all the questions come from the video and the resources. So please take your time to look at the resources that I have for you today. Take the test. You only have one attempt. I wish you the best of luck. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the lesson, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. I am your teacher, Mr. Gonzalez. If you have any questions, guys, please don't forget to send me a class dojo, or you can leave a comment in the comment section, okay? And like I said, I'm gonna leave you the link of the video that I did about angles in Spanish. So if you want to see the information in Spanish, I'm gonna leave that link down below. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Take care.